Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Mary, could I have a roll call, please?
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here.
Here. Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll move on to item 4 minutes. Everyone should have a chance to review the regular meeting minutes from May 8th and the special meeting minutes on May 8th. If there's any additions or corrections, otherwise there's not, I entertain a motion to approve.
I move for approval of the regular meeting minutes from May 8th and also the special meeting of May 8th.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve the special meeting on May 8th minutes and the regular meeting minutes on May 8th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight, and those of you online also, thank you for joining us. Let's all pray for some rain. We need some rain. She's a little dry out there, so that's the farmer and me talking.
This is Farmer John.
So we'll move on to public comment. I believe no one signed up, so we'll move on to the agenda. Everyone should have a copy of the agenda in front of them. If there's no additions or corrections, I'd entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to adopt the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to reports by administration. We'll start out with 8.1, staff handbook updates.
Hello. You should have a little one-sheeter in your packet that summarizes the handbook updates that we've talked about in Operations Committee. You will see that there are not any big significant changes, but it goes through the employee handbook as a whole and then each of the appendices. And if you have any questions about those, or if there's anything you want me to specifically go over, I'm happy to do that at this time.
I move for adoption of the proposed handbook changes as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second on the proposed handbook changes as presented. Is there any discussion at all that anyone has any questions? All right, I'll see none and I'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. We'll move on to 8.2, board engagement plan for 2023-2024.
All right. Well, what we've put together here for your review is a draft board engagement plan for the 23-24 school year. So this goes ahead and breaks down monthly board meetings and committees. Essentially, no change is recommended as far as the general layout and times for the board business meetings and committees. You do see the months where there would not be committee meetings held. That generally aligns with what we've done in the past. Board workshops, there's 3 specified dates as it is right now that would be part of the calendar to have workshops. So August, November, and December, of course, the board can always call an additional workshop or a special meeting at any time for any reason that they deem necessary. But you see August, November, and December for potential workshop dates, and the August 21st date does have an identified topic. That would be district data and metrics, school success plans, and district strategic actions that we would have. So that work flows out of the August Admin Academy, and then would be presented to the board. You see a couple of exceptions. So in September and October, just as far as the dates are concerned, September gets moved around to accommodate a community engagement opportunity for some of the board members, and then October is a little bit different, and that allows for us to have the budget hearing. And we still like to have committees, so we flip a few of the dates around there, and we've done that consistently for several years. You see other committee participation that's indicated. So the board has a negotiations committee, a wellness committee, and a Wall of Fame committee. You see on the board engagement plan also school of the month and what's included in that. So that's broken down October through April, schools of the month. This year it kicks off with Prairie View, and we close up the year at Lincoln. And then you see some other highlight events available for reference for board engagement. And in addition to this particular document, Mary Postuma will add other engagement opportunities to the board engagement calendar that we keep throughout the school year. Any questions on the board engagement plan for the upcoming year?
Some of this is fluid, so it could change a little bit, but.
Correct.
I think the only question I have, and it's just, I don't know, if it makes a difference for some of the board members if we didn't do a Thursday for coffee chats this year, if other people or more people would be able to attend if it was a different day of the week.
Different day of the week?
That's only a thought. I mean, it might not make any difference.
And I know one thing, and I talked with, I know at the middle school and the high school for sure, we are going to set dates, a secondary date for just a visit and a tour. So for some other board members, that would not be on Thursday. I wasn't planning on necessarily doing that at all the schools, but to do that with at least the middle school and the high school. But as long as, or if there's conversation, if there winds up being a different date, as long as we can thematically line it up just to plan it out, I think people would be open for other possible days a week.
Any other questions or concerns? If not, I'd entertain a motion to tentatively adopt this board engagement plan.
Make a motion, we approve the board engagement plan for the upcoming school year as presented.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion, a second, to approve the board engagement plan for 2023, 2024. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. 8.3, County Truancy Plan.
All right, awesome. So in your packet, you have a document referred to as the County Truancy Plan document for this board meeting. I'm going to go ahead and read through some of this, just so folks in the public can hear this or reference it if they need to. So this spring, we had a variety of stakeholders and representatives throughout the county met at Dodgeland School District to review the Dodge County Truancy Plan. This is in accordance with State Statute 118-162 and is intended to be done no less than every 4 years. This statute actually came into place in 1987 and required implementation began in 1989. It's actually the responsibility of the district that contains the county seat to host this effort. So that would be the Dodgeland School District, because the county seat would be Juneau. Mr. Tronson and myself represented the Beaver Dam Unified School District at this meeting. The truancy plan itself for the county has several components, including but not limited to a general statement of policy, attendance philosophy, mission, factors contributing to truancy, definition of a habitual truant, recommendation for truancy procedures, and the truancy referral process. The county truancy plan does align with and meet the expectation of our district policy on attendance, which is policy 5200. And as a matter of practice, the board shall review and, if appropriate, revise the truancy plan. So that full plan, the Dodge County truancy plan, is also included in the packet. Since it does align with state statute and our policy, there's nothing in the plan that contradicts or creates a need to change our current practices as it relates to addressing truancy in our district. And I would recommend the board adopt the Dodge County truancy plan as presented.
Okay, any discussion? Any questions for Mark on it?
So just so people know too, in addition to all the districts that were there, the representatives from the county, various stakeholders, including some of the folks that support families and helping maybe have their students attend more regularly, students that need some other wraparound services or otherwise, as well as representatives and council from the county that winds up enforcing or working with municipalities and school districts to enforce on truancy. So good conversation. We've got a good plan in place. Our principals do a great job of following through. So there's nothing significant. That coupled with our policy, there isn't anything offline or unusual that we need to worry about in adopting the plan as it is.
And it's a requirement by state statute that
Yep.
we adopted anyway, right?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions?
Were there any major changes in the policy or?
No. One of the, I think the only really major significant things that really came out of the meeting was just the conversation around things that maybe are contributing to truancy, factors that contribute to truancy. So that's changed a lot over the last 4 to 8 years. And again, the cycle got kind of thrown off because of some other things a few years ago that it would have been regularly scheduled for. So since the last revision, part of the meeting is to kind of go through and talk about some of those contributing factors. And then we learned about a few things logistically that we can do to help support the reality that the county has in helping maybe enforce or follow through with some of their ends and expectations. As we know, sometimes just the staffing, logistics, resources can be a little bit tight. So we need to keep doing what we're doing, which is following the process and protocols. And then sometimes maybe be a little bit patient as far as what that follow-up looks like, because they might be, having a hard time sometimes putting together the resources to actualize everything they want to. So, but as far as the actual plan structure, no.
Mark, would you consider, how does our district stack up as far as truancy is concerned? Is it a wide-ranging problem, hit and miss?
Yeah, as a whole, the county, if you were to extrapolate it from smaller districts to larger districts, we see similar issues. So Beaver Dam isn't different necessarily than Dodgeland or than Horicon or otherwise. We deal with more students, but that's why we have more staff to maybe follow through with some of those things. So it's all very, very comparable. The one thing that we're fortunate to have in our district, just because of our system size, is sometimes for some students that would maybe typically just fall into and continue to be truant and maybe not have access to other resources, we're fortunate to have a number of different creative models and supports, whether it be through our at-risk pathways and the different opportunities we have through that programming that we have in place. So in some respects, our ability to respond to and support students and maybe some of the contributing factors that lead to that tends to be more robust than other districts.
Right on. Good to hear.
Any other questions for Mark?
Just wondering if they've noticed any changes or trends in the reasons for truancy in the last, couple of years since we got back to a normal schedule.
The reasons? No, not so much. Let me think a little bit about the conversation. I think there tends to be, or there was, although people noticed that it actually improved a little bit this year, but initially there tended to be a little bit more apathy and acceptance of just a child not going to school, and then there was maybe some overuse or reference to health-related things that may or may not have been. And sometimes families had a hard time providing documentation, but I think that was kind of coming out of that mix of the other, pandemic realities that we had. So.
But you said it got better already last year.
Towards the
end.
second half of last year, people saw it improve.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the county truancy plan as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the county truancy plan as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carried. We'll move on to 9.0, reports to be presented by the Board of Education. We'll start out with the Operations Committee.
The Operations Committee met on May 22nd. Board members present were Joanne Tyjeski and myself. Isaac and John were unavailable on that date. Mr. Warwick, District Facilities and Safety Officer, reviewed the district's facility use procedures. He explained the district allows facilities to be scheduled for use of school-sponsored activities, school-affiliated groups, community groups, non-community groups, and for-profit organizations, provided that the use meets the facility use criteria and it does not conflict with regularly scheduled programs of the district. He reviewed the application process, insurance requirements, general facility use regulations, and fees and charges. Mr. Warwick also provided a list of possible vehicle and maintenance equipment purchases for 2023. Purchases could include mowers, snow removal equipment, and vehicles, and he reviewed a list of current vehicles, including mileage and length of use. We'll ask Mr. Warwick to come forward in just a bit to actually talk more about that particular portion of the meeting. Mr. Gerber, the Activities and Athletic Director, presented a recommendation for stipend positions pay. Positions include coaches, event workers, chaperones, class advisors, activities, club, group advisors, and performing arts. He reviewed the duties and current pay rates and recommended moving to a tier system that would group similar sports together and pay the same percentages across different coaching positions and gender sports. A comparable market analysis of Badger Conference schools will be used to assess the current coaching roster. A medium number of coaches per sport will be determined with an emphasis of having a minimum of 2 coaches on staff for any sport for the safety of the athletes. A similar tier system approach would be utilized for activities, clubs, and other groups. He recommended adjusting the rates of compensation to whole numbers and to provide a quicker avenue for leaders of activities, clubs, and groups to receive a stipend. Activities and music department would move to percentages of the base rather than straight dollar amounts. A requirement of basic level of participation will be developed to continue receiving a stipend. And the next committee meeting is scheduled for June 26th. And now, Mr. Warwick, if you'd like to come forward.
Good evening, Pete Warwick, District Facilities and Safety Officer. As you heard in the notes, we are asking for a purchase of, and you should also see it in your packet, your board packet should be a one-sheeter, for a purchase of a 2023 John Deere 1585 cut with comfort cab, commercial front mount mower, and also a 2023 Chevy Equinox LS, which is the base model.
And what is that used for?
The vehicle, we transport many, not many, but some students out of our district daily. We have districts that attend school in Appleton, also in Economowoc, and also in Madison.
And normally we have minivans or that type of thing, don't we?
Yes, we have minivans, but this is for, this is better off because we have one student that goes to Appleton, so this would be better on gas mileage, better on space, and things of that nature, sir.
So are we purchasing this vehicle for that one student?
And other people would use it too. We could have faculty that would use it during the nighttime or during the weekends and things like that if they had meetings. That would be basically used, if it wasn't being used for that student, it could be used by anyone in the district.
It's also, and I know Pete touched on this a little bit at the committee meeting, but we do a really good job of maintaining our vehicles, and a number of them are well over 100,000
Right.
miles at this point in time. So part of this is there's a need for it, and it's also part of cycling our fleet because we're going to have a couple vehicles sunset off in the next year, 2 years, 3 years too, so it keeps our fleet fresh and diverse as far as mileage.
I know too, we discussed at the committee meeting that this is the best way to transport students is to own our own vehicle and not contract with a bus service. So we had that discussion in committee as well.
Yeah, it's more cost effective for it to do it this way, correct.
Any other questions for Pete at all?
Also, I just wanted to, in the discussion where we talked about purchasing this, this lawnmower, it is not just the best deal for what we need for a district, but it's also most compatible with our fleet. Is fleet the right word of lawnmowers?
What we currently have, it could use, it's the same equipment can be used on the one we have now and the new one that we'd like to purchase. And it's not all, it's just not for lawn mowing, it's for snow removal and for multi-purpose things that we do throughout the district.
Any other questions for Pete?
I make a motion, we approve the capital equipment purchases as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to purchase the capital equipment as presented. Mary, could I have a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Abstain.
Yes.
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 Thank you, Pete.
Okay, thank you.
Marge, can I just go back to the first part of what we talked about in that operations meeting? Because that research that had gone into that recommendation on the coaching and advisory things,
Right.
I just wanted to say that was super impressive. A lot of work had gone into that to not just make it fair and equitable across activities and athletics. but also sustainable, so that our coaching salaries will continue to move with teacher salaries and continue to be good. So I was really impressed with that, and I just wanted to make mention of that here, that a lot of work had gone into that.
We can thank Ryan, he did a very good job with that, most definitely, yep.
Okay, anything else for Marge? All right, we'll move on to 9.2, teaching and learning.
Teaching and Learning met on May 22nd at 5:30 PM. Board committee members present were myself, Mary Coons, Maria Mason, and Gary Spielman. Mr. Meyer, the Director of Teaching and Learning, provided a summary of the Human Growth and Development Guidebook. He reviewed the purpose and structure of the Human Growth and Development Committee in relation to the board policy. He explained that the board is not bound by the committee's recommendations, but would be informed of them as part of the decision-making process. After the board approved the topics to be studied in the sequence of study, the Human Growth and Development Committee met to discuss the grade levels for instruction and a guidebook. A recommendation for approval of the Human Growth and Development Curriculum will be presented to the board at the June regular business meeting. Our next committee meeting is scheduled for June 26th. So Rob, if you would like to share the Human Growth and Development Curriculum Guide for those that were unable to attend and answer any questions.
Sure. So as said, coming out of Teaching and Learning Committee, there is a recommendation to approve the guidebook. The guidebook was created by a committee by statute, at least the curriculum, so the topics within that and when we will teach those topics. And that included some of our own staff, but was largely made up of the community, including students, parents, community members, and healthcare professionals. We met 3 times over the duration, and then people also had some homework to review things in the interim. Overall, the process went very, very well, and the entire committee operated on a consensus to move this forward to you. If you were to approve this tonight, this is, and it's been available to anybody that has attended those committees. They were all open meetings. And we've obviously shared at a couple of board meetings and a couple of committees as well. But the next step will be for us to actualize that plan over the next couple of years. We will get it translated as soon as it is approved, and also on the district website for everybody to view and replace anything that's currently out there.
Okay, any questions for Rob or Lisa?
So Rob, I think one of the important things is that I wanted to say thank you to the committee and to everyone involved. It's a very detailed list, including the grades in which the curriculum is easily identifiable and what each student is learning, in addition to the fact that it is very clear within the guidebook that parents can opt out of individual items or the curriculum as a whole, and without, obviously without any penalty, et cetera, that it is still a parental choice to be able to make those decisions with regard to the Human Growth and Development Curriculum.
And the guidebook has sample forms to communicate, so our teachers can communicate when that's going to happen and provide those opt-out options for our families. And thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Human Growth and Development is a curriculum that school districts do not have to offer. We in Beaver Dam choose to offer that, like most in the state. But then again, it has the parents have the ability to opt out of our provision.
Any other questions?
I sat in at the end of the discussion there at the committee meeting, and I was very impressed with the makeup of the committee that you had, first of all, including our own Marissa Solis was on the committee, and that was neat that our student representative of this board was there. So thank you, Rob, for working together with a large group who was able to express their views and make sure that our offerings to the students are up to date and well received. So.
Absolutely, and thanks to, as you mentioned, to the committee for giving up their time. They got a couple of bags of Cheez-Its and some bottled water out of the deal. So they volunteered their time to that. And to highlight the student part as well, high school student Ben Pintar also was nominated and served as our chairman. So That was a good learning process for him, and he did a fabulous job.
Any other questions? If not, I entertain some sort of motion if it's out there.
I move the board approve the Human Growth and Development Curriculum Guidebook as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, to approve the Human Growth and Development Curriculum as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
On behalf of the
Thank you,
committee,
Rob.
thank you.
All right, we'll move on to board engagement. Anyone got anything they want to talk about as far as engagement board-wise since the last meeting?
You go ahead.
I'll go ahead. I attended graduation, not only as a parent, but as a board member. So I got to hug at least one graduate. As my mother-in-law said, he was the only one to get a hug on stage. And it was great to see the students that were very eager to obtain their diplomas and walk across the stage and come to that conclusion, the conclusion of that portion of their lives. So it was always interesting to watch them, and I know that both Gary, Joanne, and Maria were also there with me. We were switching off and taking turns, shaking hands and handing out diploma covers, and Maria guiding every one of those students to their photo after the fact, that all the parents have to thank Maria, making sure that they got to their photo. So it was good to see the students and wish them well in their future.
It might be the first time they actually all did get their photo. by the way. Just so you know. Like, seriously, nice job.
Anyone else?
Yeah, no, I just want to recognize the high school staff administration that put that together. That's like herding cats, just watching them in the hallway before graduation, and so really well done. Beautiful, great speeches, good music, so really well done and congratulations. And there was a very handsome young man handing out programs, so very good. A lot younger than you.
Anyone else got anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I did a couple things. I attended the Prairie View Field Day, which was pretty neat. A lot of activity going on out there. The Prairie View third graders also did their city unit, which is a little unit that they do in regards to consumers and producers, and so all the kids essentially make their own little storefront and sell something throughout the class. They have other third grade classes come in, the staff, and you get your Monopoly money and you go in and decide what you want to buy. And so I thought that was really incredible. A lot of great little offerings that the kids put together. So I got a chance to be part of that. I was involved in the kickball game over at Jefferson with the fifth graders there. I was the all-time pitcher. I still got the bouncy ball, I got the spinner, I got the flat ball. So if anybody's looking for a kickball pitcher,
You got it.
I'm in on that. And then I also attended the teacher retirement ceremony, which was a great way to say goodbye to our retiring teachers. So
It was very nice.
Thank you. Anyone else got anything?
I was also at the retirement ceremony. Just a neat time to just recognize all the years that people have given to the district.
Washington 4K walked down to Chris Rasmussen's art studio, which I never knew was there, but that was really an interesting thing and very nice place. I attended the high school awards thing, and also the graduation. And I also got a hug from some big dude came up and gave me a hug. I have no idea who he was. But
Anyone else got anything?
I just want to say congratulations to the graduates. Thanks for the hugs. I got like 3, maybe 4. And I want to say thanks for the opportunity to be there. It was really amazing, my first one. It was really cool.
Anything else? All right, well, thank you to all you guys that did something in board engagement-wise this past month. It's greatly appreciated. All right, we'll move on to 9.5, recognitions. We'll start with board members first before we turn Mark loose. Anyone got any recognitions that they want to do, board-wise?
I mean, I'll just take a minute to recognize with the school year wrapping up, just recognize our entire district, our certified staff, our admin team, our building and grounds, our support staff, everybody that, any employee that we have that makes our district run, I think we owe a huge thank you to, and we're very grateful for everybody's efforts. And in my opinion, I know I haven't been here but more than a little more than a year. Very smooth, and I think we've got a great group of people. So thank you for all of your efforts, and really appreciate it.
Anyone else got anything?
Yeah, it's a little different, though. I really was appreciating the end of the year social media posting, so I'm not sure who's responsible for all of that, but there was some really great stuff, and it gave us a chance to see a lot of the graduating seniors, and a lot of other things going on in a lot of the schools. So even if you weren't there or you're not part of that school, it's a great way to see what's going on in the schools. So great job telling everyone what your story, so thank you.
Anything else from the board? Okay, Mr. DiStefano, you're up.
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. So, Ike, thanks for doing that and recognizing everyone. Just an extension to that, too, our administrative team wrapped up last week our kind of June Admin Academy, whereby they help put some closure to the year, and we review our goals and the status of that, and some internal data, and engage in a number of different conversations. And I think it was powerful, and people were really on point, and I think the board can feel very proud of how focused our admin team is, and how well they work together as a team. Our principals do an outstanding job. And then summer school, just a shout out to everybody who's helping put together summer school. So today was officially day one. Last week they were getting things geared up. So we've got all the elementary kiddos at Prairie View, and then both the middle school and the high school students are at the high school. So off to a good start. Really pleased with the amount of staff engagement that we have, and I know there's always a couple little things to polish up, and I think we'll do that in short order. We've got a number of really great people running the show, so really excited about that, and appreciative to our parents for making sure their students are involved in positive outlets all summer long.
Well, thank you.
That's it.
I move the board recess into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19.85, paren 1, paren C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically to discuss specific employees, employee groups, and to discuss negotiation strategy.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to move into closed session. Mary, could I have a roll call vote, please? Yes.
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 move on to, okay, we'll move on to 12.1, resignations.
There are a few resignations on your agenda for your consideration this evening.
I move the board approve the resignations as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resignations as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. There's no leaves of absence. We'll move to 12.3, appointments.
Selena Alvin, Associate Principal for Jefferson Elementary School. Daniel Allman, Physical Education Teacher for the elementary schools. Madeline Bishop, Math Teacher for the middle school. Mackenzie Chitko, Agriculture and Technical Education Teacher at the high school. Skylar Eberly, Special Education Teacher at the high school. Jen Mersch, Art Teacher at Washington Elementary, that would be half-time FTE. Mark Stoskoff, Physical Education Teacher for the elementary schools. Bryce Verks, Social Studies Teacher at the middle school. And Erica Whittier, Art Teacher for Lincoln Elementary School at half-time.
I move the board approve the appointments as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the appointments as presented. Mary, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Lisa, do you have any questions? I'm ready if you are.
How many do you have?
We have some special education positions open, one at the high school, one at the middle school. We need middle school music and social studies, ELA and math. And then elementary, we need 2 fourth grade teachers and a special education teacher.
Excellent.
So if you know of anybody.
You're expecting that you will also have a balance, so there'll probably be additional resignations since July 1st is the contract date?
Yeah, so the current teachers have until June 15th to sign their contracts. So that's been tickling along, but yes, July 15th would be when the liquidated damages go into effect, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Excellent, thanks.
Okay, we'll move on to 12.4, record schedules update.
All right, record schedule update. So there's a lot more information for reference should you choose to dive into that a little bit. You'll notice with the exec summary, there's a nice link to a legal article as well. But just to give you an overview, the Wisconsin Public Records Board replaced the Wisconsin Records Retention Schedule for school districts with the GRS, which is a General Records Schedule for Wisconsin Public Schools and related records. Don't get too excited. As a result, districts will need to adopt up to 11 records retention schedules, including the GRS, if those districts want to dispose of their public records prior to the 7-year statutory retention period set in statute. So what I am recommending is that you approve the GRS, General Records Retention Schedule for Wisconsin Public School District and related records, including retention schedules for administrative records, budget records, facilities management records, fiscal and accounting records, human resources records, information technology records, payroll and benefits records, purchasing and procurement records, risk management records, and municipal records. Neola is going to be updating our board policy 8310 on public records in that policy update. By the way, everybody gets to experience this. This is not a beaver dam thing, right? In that policy update, there'll be links to the new records retention schedule and the crosswalk that DPI has shared out, so we can essentially see, okay, with this schedule and this type of record, what's the date we can either get rid of it or what date do we need to hold it for. So it feels a little bit more complicated because it is, but we'd like you to go ahead and approve those record retention schedules.
You want me to list them all?
Marge is ready.
I'm ready.
Yep, Marge is ready.
I say, I recommend that we approve the general records schedule for Wisconsin Public School Districts for, do I have to read all of these?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
For related records, GRS, including retention schedules for administrative records, budget records, facility management records, fixed and
Fiscal.
Fiscal and accounting records, human resources records, information technology records, payroll and benefits records, purchasing and procurement records, risk management records, and municipal records.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the record schedules updates. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
I move for payment of claims in the amount of $4,014,609.16.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the payment of claims. Mary, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes.
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 Okay, one thing before we adjourn, if no one has anything else, we all have our board. So please don't forget to get those filled out and get them back to Mary.
What was the
If you
due
have-
date?
I
When
believe Friday.
This Friday?
Yes, so please get that back to Mary or myself, whatever, by the 16th, please. Okay, other than that, I don't have anything else. If no one else has anything, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion, a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.